Okay, so in the previous video we talked about the new TB2 card, and in another video we talked about how to improve your signal strength by adding the external antenna to it. So in this video we're going to talk about what if you wanted to add the external antenna and your sign did not come with a POE adapter built in. So instead of this adapter that has the plug there that you can just plug into an outlet, to make it work in your sign, most likely you're going to have an adapter that's similar to this one, maybe different size, but essentially the same. With this adapter, it's going to have a power plug that would plug into there on the back of the adapter, as you can see. And then what you would be doing is taking this to the power supply. So you can see the power supply there says L, which is your hot, N, which is your neutral or your common wire, and then your ground signal there for your ground wire. And then, you know, your cables may be a little bit different, but what you'll notice is that you have your black, which is your hot, your white, which is your common, your neutral, and your green, which is your ground. So then you'd be, you know, removing those screws and then wiring that to the power supply there. But what if your power supply is already filled? Because most likely once you receive your sign, it's going to be filled to the max capacity, and now you have this new adapter for, you know, that you're buying 10 years later after you purchase your sign, that you want to get into your sign so you can get all these new features. So in this case, we'll be using something like a terminal block. So you can connect the terminal block to your sign in two ways. Most common would be if you had our newer ones, then the holes would already be lined up there, or you may have like a terminal barrier bracket that this screws into, and then that would then screw to your sign. But you know, what if you don't have any mounting points? In that case, you could use two-sided tape would be enough to hold this. There's not going to be a lot of pull to, you know, take it off your mounting point there, or you can use alien tape from Walmart. So alien tape is pretty good because once you put it on, then if you wanted to remove it, then all you've got to do is kind of twist it and it'll come off. So there'd be no damage to your surface or anything. And to take it off this, and you just kind of twist it, it'll come right off. So that's pretty awesome. So then you just put that alien tape on there, just cut it to the width, stick it on there. Make sure you clean the surface first and then stick it on there. Once this is in place, just give it a little bit of resistance, just a little bit of tugging, just to make sure it's not coming off. And once you notice that it's not coming off, then that's good. Then you'd be using a wire such as this. So notice it's just pretty much an extension cord. So if your power supply was already filled, you already had too many things connected here to your hot, neutral, and ground, right? Too many things connected. Then what you could do is you could remove some of them using this jumper. So then you can just go ahead and get that connected here. I'll demonstrate in just a moment. And then from there, you would just bring that over to your terminal here, right? And then once that's on your terminal, then now this gives you the option to have up to, I would say maybe 3 more wires connected to this. So you could have 2 on this side and then 2 on this side, right? So now with that set up, whatever you remove from here, you can bring it over to the terminal block right there. And then now you should have enough room where now you could connect this to the terminal block, right? Just want to make sure you make sure everything matches up there. Once you're done, you just put your cover back on and then you're all set. So let's go through this together. So looking at your power supply, you may have connectors that are forks. So if you have forks, then you're in luck. You don't have to take the screws all the way out. You just open up the forks. Again, if you're messing with the power, go ahead and turn the sign off. And if you're not comfortable with this, then you want to make sure you get an electrician to do this. But make sure your sign's powered off. If you're using an outlet, you know, make sure the outlet is unplugged. If you're using a switch or a breaker, make sure the toggle switch is off, right? You can also use a multimeter to check just to make sure that there's no power going to it. Once you've confirmed that there's no power going to this, then we're going to go ahead and we can loosen these wires here. All right, so we'll take these out. Normally when I'm doing these, I would typically do one cable at a time. Instead of taking all the screws out, I would just take one cable out. But you know, it's just personal preference. Not sure that really matters. Once we go ahead and we get that done, then we'll get the first thing we'll connect is that ground. So we'll go ground. Again, making sure the sign is out before you even attempt this. All right. All right, so we got that ground cable in. Then we'll do that neutral or common. So just keep your wires nice and neat together. All right, so we'll do the same thing. And if you're gonna do multiple cables, notice how the connector shaped. So what you wanna do is if you're putting one on the bottom, make sure that bottom one is facing down. And then if you're putting one more on top of it, then put the other one, so like this. And that's going to give you a much cleaner, easier connection. You don't have to fight the wires if you were doing that. Then you could just go ahead and get that connected. But that's just a demo. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and just put this common wire on. All right, perfect. And then finally, we'll do this hot wire. Okay, so coming from the power supply, you'll see I have my hot, neutral, and my ground. Then I'll be going to my terminal block, and I typically just call it 1, 2, 3, and then we'll go with the hot, neutral, ground as number 3, right? So we'll do the same thing. Let's just take this little piece of paper out. It doesn't fly away from us. All right, so number 3, we'll do that, get our ground wire connected. And again, whichever one's going down, I put that facing down. If there was another one on top, just flip it backwards, so that way it goes in nice and easier for you. All right, so we'll get that in. Then we'll go ahead and get our common wire in. So we'll go ahead and get this set up as well, just like before. Again, this is much easier when it's secured to the sign. In this case, I'm trying to demo it for you. So, oh, I'm gonna have to make a cut right there. All right, cool. All right, so once we're in, we'll go ahead and get our wire in. All right, cool. And you don't want to over torque it, but again, it's I'm just holding it in my hand, so it seems like I'm giving it more pressure than I need to. All right, cool. So we'll go ahead and get that connected. So we'll get this one in. So just like before, and then we'll do the same thing. We'll just go ahead and slide that in. All right, perfect. So you can see what we have here is the hot, neutral, ground. Hot, neutral, ground there. Now for the adapter, we're going to do the same thing. Great thing about the adapter is this one has the forks, as opposed to those circles. So with the fork, again, we'll do same thing. We're just matching up. We're going with the ground. All right, getting with our neutral or common. And then we're going with our hot wire. And if your sign has different colors, because you may have brown, blue, and a yellow, green, the key thing to do is remember that your black is your hot, your white is your common, your green is your neutral, And your power supply is going to have these symbols, right? So you'll have the L, N, and ground. So you just want to match those up, right? Just make sure everything's matched up. Then we can go ahead and put our little separator back in, and then we'll put our cover back on, right? So as far as wiring, you can see we have our power supply installed. And then you have your terminal. You can either have it screwed to the door or wherever you have the mounting point close to your power supply, or you can use the 2-side tape just to secure it. Once that's secured, then you go ahead and you connect your adapter. So you see we have everything matching up. Now you'll see our connection is exactly the same as if you watch those other videos, exactly the same as before, right? So depending on your sign, you're going to be coming out of the LAN port, so the LAN port. So LAN, you can see LAN. And then in your TB2, LAN is going to be going to your Ethernet port. So you can see Ethernet, right? So we'll connect LAN to the Ethernet port, right? Okay, good. Let's just keep that plugged in for you. All right. Now what you're going to have is the POE port. And this is going to be going to where your antenna port used to be, or where your signal in port used to be. So this may be to the top of your sign, so it goes up to the top and just plugs into that port. On the outside, you'll have another Ethernet cable that then connects on the outside, and then that other Ethernet cable is going to go into your WLAN port right here, right? So your antenna may have one port, but depending on which antenna you have, in this case, you can see this has 2 ports. So what the second port is if I wanted to connect this antenna to my computer to do a direct connection from here, I could have the one coming from the sign going here instead of my PC, and then I could have a separate cable coming here that then goes to my computer, or it could even be going to my router, right? Because again, this can be set up as a repeater or even as an access point as well. So like you could plug it into your router, it would create its own internet, and then it's sending that signal back through the POE port, out of the LAN port into your sign, right? All right, so let's go a little bit backwards. So if you were going to be wiring this, first thing you want to do is you want to check your power supply. Do I have enough space here to connect this this new adapter? This new adapter. If you do, then you could just loosen this or take them out and get the cables on there, and then go ahead and screw it on. Like typically, we don't put more than I would say 2 sets of connections. That would be the limit. I wouldn't go more than 2. So once you have, if you only have 1, then you could connect the antenna directly here. If you have more than 1, then you want to make sure you get this terminal block where you can do a jumper. So now you have 2, the main one coming in, the jumper going into the block. Now the block gives you 3 additional ports, right? Because you can have 2 on this side, 2 on this side, right? So whatever you remove from here, you put it over here, and then now you have this side to connect your power cable for your antenna. Once you connect your power cable for your antenna, then you want to connect your LAN cable going to your control card. So LAN, so go to LAN, so LAN cable going to the Ethernet port of your control card there. And then out of the POE port, so POE, you can see again, POE, LAN. LAN to controller, POE to external of sign. So this goes now to your, wherever your antenna cable was. So again, it could be at the top of your sign, could have been coming from the bottom of your sign. Just depends. You could have had like a 9-pin connector. If you had a 9-pin connector, then most likely we would have sent you a new 9-pin connector that just goes into that slot. If you only had an Ethernet, then you're in luck. You can use any Ethernet cable. You just plug it in there. Then on the outside, you plug in another Ethernet cable, and then that Ethernet cable just routes straight into the POE port, so WLAN/POE port of your antenna, and then you're done. All right. So if you have any questions, reach out to us. Our phone number is 866-343-4011. or you can visit our website at ledsciencecity.com, and you can click get in touch, and then you'll see our support desk. Or if you look to the top right of the page, you'll see where it says support desk. You can get in touch with us that way as well. This was a series showing how to upgrade your video card, how to extend the network range, and then how to wire in the equipment if you wanted everything to be inside the sign. Yeah, so thanks, and thanks for watching.